Wednesday, Congress voted to raise the debt ceiling, and the following day, President Biden signed the increase into law, ensuring the U.S. will not default on its debt by the first time ever by agreeing to spend $2.5 trillion more, tackling it onto our endless national debt. Republicans in Congress remain steadfast against raising the debt limit, but the Democrats were able to do it anyway. How were the Democrats able to do this without Republican support?
Well, they have enough votes. We have to take back the House, and we had actually two Republicans, who you saw on the screen, supported raising the debt ceiling. Not sure why they did that, but unfortunately, they are able to pass that, and they got enough votes in the Senate. Sadly, some of our Senate Republican colleagues voted to raise the debt ceiling, which is only causing more problems in terms of inflation, which is almost at 7%.
Now, why would her Republican colleagues vote to increase the debt limit? Well, the answer is very, very obvious. If we didn't increase the debt limit, odds are the United States government would kind of come to a screeching halt, and in doing so, the United States economy would fall apart. It would be fairly disastrous, show the United States to be entirely unstable, and would undoubtedly lead to the United States not being the reserve currency of the world, and it would probably lead to some sort of fractured international monetary system for a while, which in the end would result as China being the sort of centerpiece of the global economy, which to some degree it already is. That is why her Republican colleagues voted to increase the debt limit. But why do Republicans keep harping on this, and why do they keep trying to tie it into inflation? You see, there's a very foundational myth that Republicans depend on in order to propagate this lie about the government's budget. You see, they don't like poor people getting things from the government. They don't like Social Security or disability benefits. They don't like any type of healthcare, Medicaid benefits. They really, really don't like money going to things like education. And so for this, they need to create some sort of justification in order to take away those benefits from working class people. You see, they can't just go out and say that they don't like poor people. So they have to create some sort of reasoning to justify taking things away from poor people. And in this instance, it's the debt limit.
Joe, you're exactly right. We have got to stop spending. Just increasing the debt limit is like taking that credit card that you mentioned and just increasing the spending limit with no intention whatsoever to pay it back. And that's fiscally irresponsible.
Because the truth of the matter is, the United States government can create as much money as it pleases. What gives money its value is the fact that the government can demand it in the form of taxes. The fact that we have to pay taxes to the government is what creates the demand for money. So they don't really have to worry about whether or not they create too much money, unless that too much money starts stagnating and doesn't really move things around in the economy. As long as every dollar that the government spends does something that produces something of value through labor, then the economy works fine, and they can create all the money that they want. But the problem is they don't want to do that. These Republicans want to hand money to rich people, and these rich people create inflation by increasing prices, which is what is happening today, to be very clear. There's no real structural issue that should be causing inflation right now. The only issue that's causing inflation is the fact that rich people, it seems, have basically decided that they're going to increase prices and lower wages at the same time. Sure, there's some supply chain shortages, but the reality is that those shortages aren't really greatly impacting profit margins. In fact, profits are as high as ever, which is why you know that what's happening right now is non-inflation.
And we're seeing just, a huge, it's a tax. And we're seeing this really affecting small businesses. And then I feel like this is just a gateway to negotiate the Build Back Broke plan that the Democrats want to put through.
And this is one of those things that's absolutely ridiculous. So let's unpack the lie. First and foremost, passing the debt limit really is losing a bargaining chip. You see, Republicans don't want the United States economy to collapse. It turns out that rich people like getting rich, and they like the system as it's running today. So Republicans were going to show up to vote for that anyway. So this is really a bargaining chip that Joe Biden gave up over Build Back Better. If you're some random person and you're running a small business, these higher prices are going to hit you pretty hard. But that's kind of the point. You see, these giant companies want to squeeze out small businesses. That's the whole entire point. For example, the mismanagement of the rent relief funds led to a lot of smaller landlords losing out and having to sell their properties. And who was there to jump in and buy those properties? Was it regular homeowners? No, of course not. It was giant real estate investment companies like BlackRock. They're using this as an opportunity to shore up their position in the market. So yes, it's hurting small businesses, but these Republicans are lying when they say that they have any sort of problem with that. They're just correctly pointing out something that is the result of something that they fundamentally would like to see anyway. Remember, the bread and butter for these Republicans are donations from these giant corporations and all the lobbying jobs they can get after they're in office. So when they complain about small businesses hurting, that's not really a complaint. It's more of a statement of fact, and it's something that they're willing to accept. to say the least. This is Ben Carollo with Rebel Headquarters. You can catch my show Galaxy Brain on the Young Turks Twitch channel every Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. You can follow me on Twitter if you want to stay up to date with my content.